Let me just, oh, we're starting right now. So, okay. So, good afternoon, Ashley. I'm anyone listening to this podcast. I'm Tanya Campione. I'm an elite personal professional certified trainer, as well as a nutrition specialist, a DNA wellness program designer, sports conditioning specialist, and transformation specialist. And today I have the honor of interviewing Ashley and going over what she does for life balance as well as a career, and just some really good tips on what she has to offer us today. Thank you, Ashley, for being here.
Thank you, Tanya. I feel honored to be here on your Women's Wellness Wednesdays. I'm Ashley Bedard. I am a caregiver for 22 years now. And so my experience in caregiving ranges from all across the board, from respite care to all the way to nursing care and different specialties within nursing, such as hematology, oncology, bone marrow transplant, home hospice, functional medicine in an outpatient setting. And I have, in the last year and a half, I have embarked on what is called nurse coaching. So it is this new entity that I'm honored to be talking to you about today, so we can educate the world a little bit more on what is this nurse coaching.
Yes, and thank you. And if you could please explain what you do as a holistic nurse practitioner.
Yes. So a holistic nurse coach, for that, what I do is I'm helping individuals or groups of people to achieve their version of holistic well-being from the inside out. So it's a different approach from modern or traditional medicine, because we are focusing on what's within, what we are innately given. And so this is a process of self-discovery. It is a process of co-creating a relationship with a coach to make a change or a growth that that client is looking for. And how do we do that? Well, we use insight-based learning. So we can talk more about that. We use insight-based learning. We use nursing principles and other healing modalities that I see fit to recommend.
Wow, that is awesome. Very, very, very cool. And what's one thing you wish you had known when you begun your career?
Yeah. So there's a phrase in my life that my husband has shared with me. It is called control your controllables. And so something I wish I really would have grasped a better picture on is that I'm only in control of myself at all times. As nurses, in that profession, you receive a lot of responsibility and you feel like you're in control, but you're not. So that's a bigger picture kind of acceptance that took me a few years into that experience. But something I did learn the first day on the job that I felt was worth sharing is the importance of saying, I don't know. So if you don't know, yeah, don't do it. It's a really big safety thing. In the world we live in today, I feel like there's a culture where everyone wants you to know everything and have all the answers just boom, 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 ready to spit out, especially in the medicine world. But it is impossible for us to know everything. So being okay saying I don't know was something I thought was really powerful to share today.
Well, and just as a collective and our society, we're continually evolving and we're continually getting new information, especially in the medical and even in the fitness and exercise and nutrition. I mean, there's always new ahas and just new information coming out and new ways of doing things. So yeah, it's impossible to know everything. So I don't know is okay. And just taking the time to actually, okay, let me figure out what the answer is to that, because it's always continually changing. So I like that. Thank you. And then what is your biggest failure, or I hate, not so much that it's a failure, but what was a big downfall, and what did you learn from it?
Yeah. So that was a good question for me to kind of like self-reflect on, sometimes we don't always like to think about our failures, but um, I would say what I would categorize as my biggest failure was accepting and working in a position where I was underpaid and undervalued. Um, and Sometimes it takes me a second for my head and my heart to get on the same wavelength. And my heart was there first, and my head got there logistically after because I cared and I liked that place of work. But it's important to make sure. So my flip side on what I took away is that I realized my self-worth. I realized my value.
Mhm.
And if I had to kind of go through an experience where I was underpaid and I felt undervalued to get to this point of realizing my self-worth, there's reasons we go through what we consider a failure. So
No, yeah, definitely. Well, cool. Thank you so much for sharing that. And what are some big wins you have had through diving into your passion of being a holistic nurse practitioner?
yes. Um, so I do want to just clarify real quick. Practitioners, that's a term we use for anyone that is working as in the medicine, but a nurse practitioner usually has a few extra credentials than what I have. So I'm a registered nurse with a credential in nurse coaching, not quite a nurse practitioner.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Just to
Thank you for
clarify so
clarifying
that I
that.
don't keep accepting that as my title.
Okay.
But yeah, my wins, I think in this holistic coaching space, I've really gotten to see people take their own health into their own hands, take responsibility for their lives, and find their own answers for themselves instead of me trying to tell them what to do and how to do it. Um, I learned a while ago that doesn't work. You know, if blood sugars are a really good example that a lot of people have experience with, is like you can tell someone who has diabetes not to eat sugar and not to do this and stay in these guidelines. They're going to do what they want. They're going to find their own answers of what's right for them. And coaching helps individuals find out that way, in with health being kind of that main focus.
Oh, definitely. Okay. And then what advice would you give someone wanting to pursue a career similar to yours?
Um, do it. Just do it. Bite the bullet. I originally, so we're in 2022 now. I have to remind myself of what year we're even in.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
first,
Two.
I first found out about nurse coaching in 2017, actually, and it was 5 years old at that time. So it was just this growing little sprout and of a branch of nursing, basically. And it wasn't quite evolved to where I had access to resources in my area. So took me 2 years later before I dove back into it. And I just haven't wanted to look back. It's where I feel most aligned with. And I say do it because it's very rewarding. It's a win-win situation. And oftentimes in traditional nursing or bedside nursing, there's a lot of one-way efforts, I feel. So in a
Yeah.
coaching environment, it feels much more balanced and feels like a win-win. So it's equally as rewarding for the coach as I interpret it to be for the client. So
Definitely. Well, what's cool is as you started talking about your passion, I started hearing the birds chirp behind you. So it definitely, it's like when you're talking from spirit, when you're talking about your passion. So that's beautiful. So you're definitely in alignment. And knowing you, because we've had a friendship for over a year now, you definitely are in a very good field for what you actually embody. So you are a blessing to this world. So thank you. And definitely those birds verified that. beautiful
Thank
that
you,
was.
Tanya. Thank you, birds.
Yeah, I know, like,
Oh,
thank you. Yeah, so, and then what are the best resources that have helped you along the way?
yes. Okay. So when I first got started in thinking about my thoughts, because with coaching, we talk a lot about how our thoughts work. So dabbles in psychology, dabbles in mental health. Um, when I first got started in being curious with how impacting my thoughts are to my everyday, it started when I downloaded an application called Headspace.
Hmm.
And this is there's a free version that you can have 10 episodes. And honestly, that's as far as I've gone. I've never purchased the paid app. I put those 10 free sessions on repeat. You can shorten the length from like 2 minutes all the way to, I think, 10 or 15. And it's a guided meditation app.
Nice. Very, very
So,
cool. Thank you. I've
yeah.
heard
So
of
that was
Headspace.
one
I haven't
of,
used it before though.
yeah. My most recent example is, um, I did check in on the world and I did turn the news on in the last couple weeks. And I watched the news for about 20 minutes before I recognized I'd seen the same things 3 times.
Mhm.
And I decided to follow it up with a session from Headspace to really just bring me back into um, the headspace that I wanted to be in. So, kind of where I wanted my mind to go from that point forward. I didn't want it to keep putting those clips of the news on repeat that I watched already 3 times. I
Mhm.
wanted to put a stop to it, and I wanted to reframe the way I was thinking from that moment. So that was my example of how I used it to benefit me.
Oh, definitely. And you find, and to go off the subject too much, but you noticed with the news and the media, paid programming as what I like to, actually I call it is paid programming because it's exactly what it says. Uh,
Mhm.
you're feeling like, because I'm one that does not watch the news either. It's very seldom I do, unless I go to someone's home that happens to have the news on, is the only time I see it realistically. Occasionally, I like to just know what's going on in the world, but there are certain
Yeah.
outlets that I use for that information, like trusted sources and stuff like that. Do you notice that since you don't follow the news and the media, that when you did get in and you watched it for 20 minutes, did you notice how it started bringing just your energy and everything and your way of thinking, like it just kind of started spiraling a little bit different in the opposite direction?
It did. I also was, um, because I have had experiences that I wasn't fond of with how I felt from watching the news in the past. I
Mhm.
was mindful going into it. So I recognized, I looked at the time when I started it. That's why I knew I only watched it for 20 minutes, but had saw the same thing 3 times. So they repeat often. And
Planting seeds.
yes, a huge piece of coaching is to stop our ruminating thoughts, stop our repeating thoughts. And so by the third time that came through, I was just very aware of, okay, this is repeating itself and that's not going to serve me. And yes, I felt a shift in how I felt on the inside. And so I wanted to take back my powers to feel the way I wanted to feel. And we're one thought away from feeling how we want to feel. And that's the truth of it. That's how we're made. So kind of my push of, my why of why I'm a coach is like, I want everyone to know that. I want that to be common knowledge, and it's not yet. So
Oh,
here,
exactly.
I'm here to
Bless you
shout
for
that
that.
from the roof.
Yeah, no, oh my gosh, I love it. That's why I'm so excited to interview you today, because everyone should hear this. Everyone out there in our society should hear this, because knowing that, yes, we are one thought away from actually almost basically creating a whole different life and a whole new reality for ourselves. So bless you for actually diving into that work and understanding how that starts from the foundation and moving forward and everything. So that's amazing. So thank you. And then
Yes.
who are the three most influential people to you?
This was a good one. I've had some immediate thoughts that kind of answered this question, but then I had to put some thought into it a little bit more to kind of really get across what I mean here. So I asked if I can change that 3 into a 4.
Oh, you totally can. Always,
But
there's more, then that's always good.
yeah, so my core 4 is my immediate family. So that for me, what my immediate family looks like is my mom and my dad, my older brother and my younger brother. So the reason I chose these core 4 people in my life is because they helped really shape my whole perspective on what it means, what teamwork means. And my younger brother, Connor, had special needs. And so he was very medically involved, and it took all of us to contribute to his health and well-being. And so that started for me at a very, very young age of helping and assessing. And it honestly, having my immediate family in my life has made me who I am today. But my younger brother, Connor, he was pretty much the biggest teacher that I could ever ask for in life. He did not have language, so I learned for example, what love can look like without words. And I learned how to assess someone without them telling you anything. So just those 2 examples, I think really is a huge pivotal thing of what sets me apart from others, because I learned that starting at age 3 or 4. And I recently learned that at age 3 or 4, children actually start to develop that motherly instinct at age 3 or 4. And so based on the stories that I was told, I took that responsibility and I ran with it. And with his medical fragileness, fragility, I obtained a lot of responsibility from a very young age. And my immediate family really helped that responsibility also be fun and also be hard work. It was this balance. So I learned this teamwork and this balance factor at a very young age that I've really been able to apply to any social situation, any professional situation, any personal situation. So those core 4 people have been major attributes,
Yes.
making me who I am.
Yeah, that's beautiful. And especially whenever you started at such a young age and you learn so much. I mean, our brains are sponges, and plasticity of our brain is at the peak between whenever we're basically born until we're about 25 years old. So, but those detrimental years are when we're in our children, our children age. So basically that's amazing. Thank you for sharing that. You've shared quite a few stories about Connor with me, and thank you. He definitely left a mark with you, and a beautiful one. So he's definitely an angel in your life.
Yes.
And then what have you read or listened to recently that inspired you?
Okay. So this one, yes, I've been reading an author who's known as Sydney Banks. He is an older author who has since passed. He talks a lot about the 3 principles of mind, thought, and consciousness in very casual terminology that is has helped me to understand more on how our thoughts work. And so that's someone who I've been reading. But just to put a twist on this, you said reading or listening to. So that's who I've been reading.
Mm-hmm.
But who have I been listening to that's really has been really impacting? I've been listening to myself, Tanya.
Yes.
For a
Yes,
change.
the inner our inner self, right?
Yes. Yes. So I've really learned that my best influence is truly myself, because only I truly know what I want. And if I'm the only one that knows what I truly want, I'm most likely going to be the only person that can truly know what it is that I need in order to fulfill that. And so I'm listening to myself more.
I love that. Your inner guide and your intuition, just the inner being. It's just like when you work out or whenever we're doing any kind of work or anything, it's more of a work in than a work out, because we're always working inward. It's where everything comes from, is from inward. So that's great piece. Thank you. Like, and more and more of us should be going in when we're actually seeking for questions or, answers to our questions, because it does lie within us. So, and we do have the capability to tap into that. So thank you. And what are some healthy habits you implement for self-care?
Okay, this one. Yes, yes, yes. I've been setting boundaries and easier said than done. But setting boundaries has helped me identify further my limits, my own limits, when I'm kind of reaching my edge or my capacity. That has been a learning experience, a learning curve, but definitely healthy for me with my self-care. That's just one that's probably newer in my life, one that I've been utilizing. Healthy habits. I need my alone time. I need to decompress. I need a good old bath time that just changes up the elements. Water to me is very cleansing, obviously, but there's that spiritual cleanse too. So healthy habits. I wrote a few others down here. Listening to my heart is what I wrote down here, because we are our own guides. We are our best own guides. And by listening to my heart, I have rediscovered my my own inner compass to kind of
Oh,
figure out where I'm going.
yes. Oh, it's juicy. Thank you. That was really good. I love that. And it is when we're coming from our heart and we're really in tune with that, and our mind is connected with our heart, that's like the greatest, most powerful energy in the universe. So that's when we're coming from that space. It's magnificent, and everything is magnified with that. So that's beautiful. Thank you for sharing that. And when managing stress, this is on the flip side of that a little bit, but stress can be good. As we know, it comes up, and actually, again, it can be healthy if dealt in a healthy manner. What is the best way you have found that works for you in coping with stressful situations, events, or circumstances?
Okay. Two things come to my mind that I utilize, and I do think I naturally, I choose my words carefully here. Conscious language, right? Yeah, we all have stress, and I agree. It doesn't all have to be considered bad. I have found that one of the quickest ways to kind of release that stress that I feel kind of sinking in is I will literally start shaking, like just all over. And I will shake. I'll just move. I'll shake from my head to my toes and kind of work on every little joint and like go, up my body and kind of shake. It sounds simple. Work with me here though. Humans aren't far from animals. We're animalistic.
Mhm.
Whenever you pet a dog and then they walk away, what do?
You shake it off.
They shake it off. A
Mhm.
bird, you'll watch a bird in the pond. It'll like be near another bird, and then they don't like being near each other. And then they'll both swim away and flap their wings. They'll
Yeah.
shake it off. So birds do this, dogs do this. I mean, pretty much every animal does it. Similar with like deer or gazelle. They'll be chased by a cheetah for miles, and they'll get done. They'll shake it off and they'll go about continuing to graze on their grass, like nothing ever happened, and they just
shake it off.
ran from a cheetah, like
Yeah,
so,
yeah.
so
Just
I
shake
like
it
to
off and
shake
move
it
on.
off. Yep. So that's my main go-to. If I have a lot of exertion that needs to happen, scream therapy works well for me.
Screen therapy?
Scream
Oh,
therapy,
oh, okay.
yelling. So typically I do this in my car when I have that burst of passion or a lot of energy. Sometimes I just need to, open up that throat chakra and just let it out.
Yes, I've done that in
So,
my car too. So yeah, we're not alone on that one.
Yep.
Sometimes I'll do it, like act like I'm singing a song, but it's actually I'm screaming. So yeah, I got you 100% on that one.
Yeah, no, this is no judgment, no shame. It's better to get it out than leave it in and have it fester.
Yeah, into a
Something.
dis-ease or
Yep.
suppression of some kind of energy that does not serve you or belong there. So definitely.
Yep.
And then what is one common myth about your profession or, the field that you're in, that you want to debunk?
Yeah. So I got certified a year ago as a nurse coach. I am considered a board certified nurse coach. And when I tell people that, they often think I am a coach for nurses only. And that's not the case. The case is I am a nurse who provides coaching. I'm not a coach who serves nurses. So I can help nurses. A lot of nurse coaches are servicing other nurses to try to prevent burnout and try to increase retention rates among staff at hospitals. So there are a lot of nurses being coached, but as a nurse coach, I can coach any individual or any group of people who are really ready and willing to kind of embark on that discovery process, transformation process, and growth. So not limited.
Yeah, you can help an array of people. So it's not just in one little pocket of people. It's anyone and pretty much everyone that can use your services to do the holistic. So thank you. And then in your experience, what are the 3 biggest tips on life balance you can offer?
Life balance. I gotta think. Yes. My biggest one is, first of all, breath. If you don't know what to do, breathe. This is actually a lesson in a training that people in active military, my grackles.
I know, I could totally hear them too. I'm like, wow, dang it.
Yes, they're also wanting to be interviewed today, so they're getting their 15 minutes of fame.
Yeah.
But if you don't know what to do, breathe. This is a training done for like active military people, that their first response in one of those catastrophic emergency situations, what do? You just breathe. You breathe first. You basically are welcoming in that life force, and you are basically, saying that you're open to receive the answers that you need for this moment right now.
It totally makes sense. Yes. And especially the breath work, something I've been doing every morning is breath work. And it usually ranges from anywhere from like 10 to 20 minutes in the mornings. The morning ritual is basically get up, do some breath work, and do like self-care, at least for the first half hour. Like no phone, nothing with really technology, except to listen to, like, if I want to listen to, a breath video. But it's doing breath work and it's actually getting into self-care, because then it sets the tone for the day. It doesn't mean that the day is going to be exactly as planned. Sometimes, things come up and stuff like that. But I really feel that since incorporating that, it's really, really helped whenever certain things that are not expected happen, cope with them better, because you start the morning with the breath, and you start the morning with intention, and you start the morning going inward. with yourself first before
Mhm.
giving yourself to others or to this or to, anything else or any kind of like distractions or anything. It's about that, doing that for yourself. So breathwork has been phenomenal. And I could definitely tell anybody who's actually doing breath work, they're doing that every day. It's pivotal in life balance. So yes, wonderful. Thank you.
Mhm.
And then as for our listeners, where can they find you online or your website?
Yeah, so I'm in the process of rebranding a little bit right now. So my website is coming soon, and but I can be reached through email or phone. And so if anybody wants to get contact, I'm sure they reach out to you, and then you could share that
Definitely.
with them.
Yes,
Yeah.
definitely.
So
Yeah.
I
I'll scan them first. I'll be like, I'm going to scan. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. I'm just
yeah
be like, before I send you over to Andrea, or before I send you over to Ashley, I got to make sure who you are. So I'm just playing though, but yes, they can
yeah
definitely reach out to me for sure.
yeah. So I plan to have this the next couple months really be some website building. So hoping to get a little more presence online and virtually. But these coaching sessions that I do offer can be done in person, over the phone, or video calls like this one. So even though we don't have that online presence through a website yet, um, coaching has been happening, and I have been serving people in the community already. So I'm starting off small and going to grow to be mighty.
Yes, you are, and you're already getting up there. And Ashley, I mean, I have so many wonderful things to say about you, and just from knowing you in this a little over a year of knowing you. And definitely anyone who reaches out to me that wants to speak with you, I'll definitely get you in touch with them. And anyone who is interested in working with Ashley, I back her up 100%. Her heart is in her work, is in her life balance, and just a beautiful heart, a beautiful soul, and a beautiful human being. So Ashley, I want to thank you so much for your time today and being the first podcast of this women's this wellness workshop that we're doing every Wednesday, just to share women and just see what resonates with who, and just sharing real life stuff. So again, I appreciate everything you do, and you're just an incredible human being and woman in this world. Is there anything you'd like to add before we end this?
Yes, I want to say thank you. Thank you for this opportunity. You've definitely been a blessing in my life, and right back at you. I support everything that you're doing. It's people like you out there making changes that are inspiring people like me. So thanks to you.
Oh, thank you. And you inspire me too, sister. I'm telling you.
Oh,
So,
I know.
yeah.
It
So,
goes back and forth.
well, again, if anyone wants to reach out to Ashley, please let me know. Once she does have her website, I will be sharing that. And again, Ashley, thank you so much for everything. And have a wonderful day.